what is just trying to see like what's important to her, and you know,
Love that.
her favorite is Shrek 3, which is super random. That's because that's the classic Shrek. But so anyway, yeah, she loves Shrek, and I mean, I haven't seen Shrek for years, and so I don't remember it. So she'll try and she'll be like, "Dad, you be Shrek and Donkey, and I'll be Fiona and whatever." And she wants me to like play things out. That's not my forte. I'm not like, I can't pretend to have like a great Shrek or Donkey accent. I'm not that guy.
Graeme, can we hear it?
No, I don't even try.
Come on.
No, it's not happening.
No?
No.
Can we give it a go? I'm excited here, man.
No, Alan. That's not going to happen.
Donkey!
ALFA Relations, driving change forward.
Hey, how's it going? It's funny that little saying, "How's it going?" I had this teacher in high school. His name was Al. He was a mighty man, all right, with a mighty beard, with mighty tats. Kind of reminds me of Godfather Graeme, who we currently have on today's podcast episode. Welcome, Godfather Graeme.
Yeah,
Thank
let's
you.
go.
Woo!
Thank you. What an intro.
Hey, thank you.
I've never been compared to Al, a big man with tats.
And a big mighty beard.
And a mighty beard.
Exactly.
But I appreciate it.
You're very welcome. If anything, you guys might be related,
It's a good chance. Most people with tattoos and beard are.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
The tight-knit community.
Yeah, it could be. I'm on almost. I wouldn't guarantee it. You guys have Nordic blood in you, like North. All right, let's not deny it, Graeme. You're over 6 foot. He was over 6 foot. You guys had Viking ancestors that used to raid Newfoundland and whatnot.
I haven't done my ancestry.com, but
you should check it out.
There's a good chance.
You'd be kind. Anyway, welcome, my good sir. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. It's good to be with you guys, and yeah, I'm excited for this. I'm a little nervous. I had a little bit too much coffee, and so I'm a little jittery, but it's good. It's all good.
Yeah. That's in another zone right there.
That's for sure. At least you did the responsible thing. I had coffee. I'm like Luca over there, who's been up and at it since 4 a.m.
Well, not 4 a.m., but we have 4 hours of sleep in us, but we're grinding through this right now.
You watch him just hit his computer table.
If I pass out at one point, just keep on going.
On with the show. That's the right type of attitude. So, Graeme, we wanted to thank you for being here. As you know, ALFA Relations is still in its early stages. We're up and coming. We had our first guest on last week with Kat Spencer. Shout out to him.
Yes.
That's it.
Yeah, shout out Kat Spencer.
That's it. Yeah, no, that was a lot of fun. So, I mean, kudos to Kat for coming on the show, for getting our information out there. And it's been a fun week. It's been a fun week. A lot of good feedback regarding that episode that came out. Graeme, what were your thoughts on that?
I thought it was really interesting. Yeah, it was. He's a very interesting person to listen to. You can tell that he's has good interview skills, and he's very good speaker. So it was good to hear.
Yeah. All right.
Well, engage you.
That's for sure.
Conversation.
Yeah.
And you know who also has a very engaging story? Alex is like, who?
Pat.
Who? Who's Pat?
Shout out Pat. Nice plug. Nice plug.
I assume we were talking about him, right?
That is a very humble thing of you to say, Graeme. But no, we're discussing you today, my good.
Oh, yeah. We are.
Yeah, right. I forgot why I was here. Yeah. Yeah, no, Graeme. You and I have been we've been friends and colleagues for a little bit over a year now, and I kind of feel like it's been longer in a sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and that's even just a better feeling. And meeting you, I remember when we really started to get to know each other, we had that interview assignment that you offered to do with me, which was fantastic. And there was just such a wild and fascinating story that I I personally believe, and as well as the team here, that is totally worth sharing. So, without further ado, Graeme, just I'd like to dive into the first question. Just ask who are you? Who is Graeme?
Who is Graeme?
Yeah,
that's a good question. So Graeme, me, I am. What can I tell you about myself? I'm 34 years old, and I come from Winnipeg originally, and I moved to Montreal five years ago, I think. And yeah, I'm married to my wife Melissa, and we've got a beautiful young girl, 4-year-old girl Skylar, and yeah, man, that's who I am.
I love it.
I love that.
I love
Family
it.
man.
That's
Love
true. And now knowing how I've already described how you and I have that connection there, but how do you come to know maybe some of the other members on this team here?
Well, so Alan, I'll say a little bit more about how I know you, Alan. We met as TAs, so both of us started as TAs for a professor in human relations department in Concordia. And Alan was very outgoing, as he is.
What are you talking about?
And I'm probably a little bit more reserved, and so we naturally did not get along. No. No, we did. We got along well, but it probably took me a little while to open up. But after a while, yeah, we got along really well. And yeah, this semester our first class together.
Yeah. How about
yeah,
that?
we haven't had any classes together except for this, but we've TA'd together for two classes now.
Yep, that's right.
So that's a little bit how I know Alan. Luca and I had a class earlier in our school careers, if you will, and I forget which one. I know
the same professor that you guys TA for.
Oh, that's true.
Oh, was it?
Yeah,
it was
in
okay.
Facilitation.
Yeah. Okay. And again, not a great connection at first.
Yeah.
He's a wild one. He's a wild one.
Surprised me.
No. No, I really like Luca, and that was the first class we had together, and I really connected with him through Alan, though. Like when Alan and I were TAing together, Alan had introduced me to kind of like the group of friends with Luca and infamous Patrick, and some others, and yeah, just that's kind of how we kicked it off. And today actually is the first time I'm meeting Alex, and so before we started, we've known each other for about 30 minutes, and so far so good.
Yep.
Nice. I love that. I love that. And yeah, what can I say? I mean, like building off of what you were saying there, Graeme, you're right. I mean, it's just comes more naturally just to get out there, can connect people. Like, I mean, first with Luca, then Pat, Neethu. Shout out to Neethu.
Oh, yeah, shout out to Neethu.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's it. I can't forget about the uncle of the group
Love that
here.
guy.
He's a great
Don't
guy.
worry.
Great guy.
So now,
Your audience is gonna love all our inside jokes.
for sure. Seeing how mainly the audience is coming from, our school colleagues right now, then hey, it's perfect. But what can we say? We have a wild family dynamic. I mean, I personally see, Luke and Alex and a few others as my children. Don't go asking who those other kids are. All right. And then we have Uncle Neethu. I don't know how he became uncle. He just is. And then we have Godfather Graeme. It just works beautifully.
Yeah.
No? Am I crazy?
It's beautiful.
No, you're not crazy.
Love it.
It's perfect.
Got a ring to it.
It's so good.
Yeah. I think it's really the beard that sets it in, Graeme.
I shaved today.
You
for
did. You did.
So that all your
Good.
audience could see.
Nice. That's it.
Oh God.
I love it. Anyway, we got a little bit of beeping in the background there.
Is that on my side?
I don't know. It's on somebody's side, but hey,
well,
that's just life.
The dishes are done.
Hey.
Dishwasher is done.
That's good to know.
But all right, that's all from my side. But I think Alex has something that she'd like to ask you.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Okay. Oh my god, this is the most fun I've had. Okay. I'm sorry. Okay.
Composure.
Okay.
Right.
So, what is like your story? Like, what is your origin story? Why are we interviewing you? Like, what makes you interesting?
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Or what
Good
doesn't
question.
make you
Very good
Or
interesting?
what
question.
doesn't make you interesting?
Well, I mentioned a little bit about me. So I grew up in Winnipeg and have only lived here for 5 years. What makes me interesting? Um, your podcast is a little bit about change, so I'll tell you a little bit about like change that happened in my life. Is that all right?
I'm excited. I'm
Mm-hmm,
very
Okay.
yeah.
excited.
So um, I didn't mention. I don't know why I did. I didn't mention this in my intro. I am a pastor as well as a student at Concordia. So a
Oh.
little bit about like what I do and how I came to that. So
Wait, hold up. Before
yeah,
you
yeah,
get
yeah,
into that story, I'm sorry to cut you off.
yeah.
I think we need to paint a little, mental image, considering that we don't have video just yet for
Mm,
the audience out there.
Oh yeah.
So for those who don't know Graham, right off the bat, like number one, he's got a fantastic beard. He just trimmed it. It's not as long as before, but it's a fantastic, gorgeous, thick, luscious beard. All right. He's got some beautiful, piercings on his left brow, I believe. All right. He loves wearing caps. His style is on point, ladies and gentlemen, everyone. All right. On top of that, he just has this very zen, calm, confident looking appearance when he handles himself, when he presents himself in front of others. But right off the bat, if I didn't know Graham walking down the street, I'm like, that guy smokes a lot of dope, probably. He's a skater. All right. And he's down just to chill, right? Have a
and
good
that's the vibe I'm going for, really.
right? That's it.
Big stoner
Yeah,
skater.
that's it, man. That's it. That's it. Right off the bat, just like, let's just jump into it. Like, that's that type. That's exactly what he is. And then, the first time meeting Graham, Dr. Farmer, our professor who we work for at Concordia, asked us to, introduce ourselves and just share something interesting. And Graham, you got up there in front of the class and goes like, yeah, so like, I'm a dad, I'm a pastor. And then right away, I turned my head. I'm like, whoa, I'm like, huh, interesting. Okay, like what is like what we're seeing right now, compared to what happens outside, and how did Graham get there?
Mhm.
And that's exactly what he's going to do now.
Mm. Yeah. So that's what I do for work. I haven't always been a Christian though, so that's kind of basically like the bigger change that happened in my life, I guess. So I grew up in like a home that my parents were Christians, my brother and sister were as well. It didn't really resonate with me for most of my life, I guess.
Mhm.
And so I just kind of like I didn't enjoy going to church. I didn't have friends at church, and so I just didn't go. So like I basically throughout my teens and everything, I was that stoner guy, I guess. And yeah, I really just kind of lived however I wanted and didn't think too much about it and whatever. So when I was about 24,
Mhm.
I met a friend of mine who he himself was a pastor. He's similar age to me, so I wasn't hanging out with like this 50-year-old weird guy who wanted to, but yeah. So he was a pastor as well, and him and I started hanging out a little bit, and I through like conversations with him and stuff, I started like investigating like what Christianity was and who Jesus was, and started it just started to click with me a little bit, I guess. So um, the change in my life kind of happened as um, I kind of describe it this way: like there was like a spiritual change that happened in me. So I went from let's try and see how I can explain it. I would describe this change as before like becoming a Christian, just was really in it for me. I was very self-centered, did whatever I wanted. I partied a lot, and not passing judgment or anything, but just like that was my lifestyle. And after that, I became not interested in those things, and it wasn't like I didn't feel like it was something that I did, like but I was like studying Christianity. I was like less attracted to those things, and so that was kind of like the change that happened in me. Was like I don't feel drawn to those things anymore, and so that's kind of what I mean by like a spiritual change. Was yeah.
Was there, like, based off taking an interest into studying Christianity, what in particular was drawing you? Like, any in particular factors that really stand out?
Yeah, so a lot of what I looked at was like the life of Jesus, and so I and for me too, like I saw how my life was not like I didn't live a pretty life, I guess, and so I saw how that had impacted others personally, and how it was impacting my life, relationships in my life, and but when I talk about like the Jesus part of it, I guess it was like seeing. I'm not. I don't know how much to go into detail because I don't know how much necessarily your listeners would be familiar with. But a lot of what Christianity is like seeing what Jesus has done on our behalf, and it's like how he died for our sins, and so that part was like, oh wow, that's what he did for me. And so the change is okay. Now I don't like. I'm not attracted to those things anymore, just because seeing the grace that I've been given and how it's not like I had to like, oh, you just have to be better. It wasn't that. It was I don't really like. I've been given so much grace, and I don't need to be better. Like I just naturally changed. I don't know if that makes sense.
There's one thing about like being or having faith within Christianity and being like a follower of the religion, but like how do you take that and become a pastor and become a leader and of the religion itself?
Yeah, well, that's a good question. So what happened with me was I had the guy who I had been introduced to, my friend who was a pastor as well. He had moved to Winnipeg to start churches. And so he basically started a church from the ground up. Like there was no one when he didn't know anyone when he moved there. I was probably one of the first people he met, and I started hanging out with him and seeing like how to start a church. And so I know, like I said before, I had my family was Christian, so I had seen a little bit about like what churches were, but when I started hanging out with him, I started to see like how to actually be involved, and like when like churches need it the most. Like when it's a small church, there's not many people that are helping out. There's a lot of stuff that needs to be done. So I naturally kind of gravitated to some of that stuff, and like just started helping out even before I was a Christian. Actually, like I started hanging out, and it was like someone would say, hey, today the computer needs to be run. And so I was like, sure, I can run a computer. And so I would do, various tasks like that, and just kind of started to see like the ins and outs of what it was like to help run a church and that kind of thing. And to be clear, right now, I don't lead a church. Like I'm not the lead pastor. I'm one of the pastors on staff. And so I didn't have like this like, not yet anyway. I haven't like started my own church or anything like that. But I'm a part of a staff of 2 other pastors as well. So we all work as a team, and we're, it's another small church plant. So we're kind of also just like learning how to do it together, and yeah.
Nice, kind of like what we have going on here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like you guys, podcast planters.
Right? Yeah, planted the seeds and seeing which way it goes. Hopefully up. That's cool. Just a question that comes to mind. Do you see yourself down the line, wanting to open up like your own little mission or a church of sorts? Like, what do you think about that?
Maybe. I've thought about it in the past, and I'm not sure. I'm trying right now a lot to see, to like really be observant of like the skills that I have, and if they apply uh, to planting a church. And I'm okay if they don't. Like I know right now, like I'm gifted in like helping on a team. Uh, Now, yeah, it's a bit of a balance of like, can I grow in those skills that I need to start a church, or should I just wait for the person who's gifted in that and help them? Uh, yeah, it's always a bit of a balance. So I don't like right now. I'm certainly not there yet. I always have it in the back of my head, like maybe in the future. Um, yeah.
I think you'd be great.
Oh, thank you.
Honestly, yeah. Just personally, like I know that you and I have when we worked together for 1 year, but you're touching into a subject that I like to explore further, and that's team dynamics, group development, and a church is a system, and that's something that we have all come to study in our own senses. And like, what would you say really makes the essence of running a church, of running that type of system? Like, what would you need? Like, what are the tools that you need?
As like as far as people, yeah. Um, what do you need? Uh,
Like, what does it consist of? Like, I mean, like from yourself personally, like what type of experiences, what type of, I don't know, abilities, skills that you want to be applying in that sense?
I think there's a lot, and you have very like within the church, you have a lot of diverse people, and so every church is going to look different.
Mm-hmm.
So also when I'll clarify this. When I talk about the church, I talk about the people. It's not, a lot of people think uh, the church is like a building, which a church is where you meet, yes. But the church, when I say church, I'm probably most referring to the people that make up the church.
Mm-hmm.
So it takes people who are interested in seeing people grow. It takes people who will want to use their skills to grow the church. It takes people who will want to develop other people's skills, and yeah, it kind of those things I would say.
So, having said all that, and given what you've been studying, which we're going to explore further in depth, so what's human relations in a nutshell, Graeme?
Human relations is looking at people and like developing them and helping see them grow, and communication, working together, that kind of thing. So yeah, that's a little bit why I went into human relations, because there's a lot of skills that help develop people, and those are the skills that I want to take and use to help develop the church.
And that's exactly why I know, like further down the line, not I think, I know for a fact that you'll be great at it.
Oh, thank you.
I love
No
that.
worries,
We'll come support.
Thank you.
Would you say that being a pastor brings you like a higher purpose in life, like almost like a purpose like of something you want to bring forward?
I think I also became I became a pastor because I feel like it's probably the most important thing I can do in life. That might sound cocky, but
Oh,
I don't mean it that way. I think like people's spiritual growth and their health and like their relationship with God is the most important thing to have, and that's why I started doing it. Like, um, and I other people do very important things as well, and I'm not trying to like say that what I do is the most important thing. And there's definitely other people who are working toward that who don't have a title as pastor as well. So, but it's why I decided to make it my career. So I want people's spiritual health to be the best that it can be. I want people to like have an amazing relationship with God, and to continue to learn what that looks like on a daily basis. So that's why I do it. But I'm not trying to like, I don't know. I don't look at it like, oh, it's this like high and mighty thing that I do or anything like that.
Okay.
I just do it because I think it's important.
Okay.
Yeah, no, respect to that.
Is there like a thing that makes you different in the way you go along being a pastor, like the way you pass along your teachings and stuff that you wouldn't see in like maybe other churches?
Well, so the main teaching that happens, I would say, comes on a Sunday morning, where, as you would think of at church. So Sunday mornings we gather at an organization where we meet, and we do things like worship. So worship is like music. People kind of, it's honestly, if you walked in and you didn't know what it would be like seeing a bunch of people kind of do karaoke, which just sounds a little bit weird, but it's like people singing. And then there's a sermon, which is about 30 minutes long, and it is teaching on a specific passage of the Bible. Sometimes it's topical. So sometimes we'll say, today we're talking about money and how do Christians view money, or something like that. Today we're talking about sex, or today we're talking about whatever it is, and then we'll look at where it says in the Bible this talks about money, or whatever. Most of the time, our church will take a book of the Bible, and we'll start at the beginning, and we'll walk through what it says. So we'll maybe take like a chapter or half a chapter or something like that, and we will we'll read it, and we'll start talking about, what does this mean? What did it mean to the people back then? What does it mean to us now? How does it relate to who God is? How does it relate to who we are as humans? And some stuff like that. So that's where like the main teaching happens, and that's probably typical for most churches. Throughout the weeks, we have like smaller groups, like they're one-on-one, or like groups of 3 or something like that. And sometimes they're just like more intimate ways to say, like, how are you growing spiritually, that kind of thing. So there's a little bit of teaching involved in that. But the main teaching happens on like Sunday mornings, which, like I said, it's probably not much different than most churches.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. So what made you decide to come to Montreal specifically? Why did you decide to leave Winnipeg?
I came to Montreal. The guy who I had mentioned before, who was the pastor, he moved here. His job is, he is a church planter.
Okay.
So he starts churches all over the world. Right now in Canada, but he's lived in different places throughout the world. Like I said, when I met him, he had moved to Winnipeg to start a church, and I became really good friends with him. My wife became really good friends with his wife as well. And so when he moved here, I hadn't even really thought of moving anywhere else. Like, I was like, if you grow up in Winnipeg, you like, not everyone, but I mean, a lot of people are just like, yeah, I live in Winnipeg, and some people do move, but most of the people that I know, I've known since kindergarten, and like, they all live in Winnipeg and probably don't have plans on moving. But yeah, so I hadn't thought of moving myself. And then my wife is studying nursing right now at McGill, and she had thought, oh, I might be interested in doing some work outside of Canada, like in Africa or somewhere around the world, and helping people out in that way. And I was like, oh, I've never thought of moving before, but let's think about that. Let's talk about that. And around the same time was when my friend had moved to Montreal, and he had contacted me and said, hey, I'm starting a church here, and I'm wondering if you want to do an internship with me and the church. So I said, I'll think about it. Sure. And we, my wife and I thought about it and prayed about it, and we're like, yeah, let's do it. So we had to we had to raise money to move here, because that's how people who work in the church are supported. You don't get like
Yeah.
a salary from the church, because no one, like, churches that don't have anyone there can't pay you. And so yeah, I had never done that before either, and that was a really interesting thing. And to be honest, it's like a really big way that I've seen God provide for me, because I could not have done that on my own. Like, I was just like, I did not know what I was doing. I don't have connections, because I have, like I said, I had not been a Christian for very long, so I don't know a lot of people in the church. The church that I went to was a very small church plant, and so not a lot of people are like, yeah, we want to give money to you to do this. And so yeah, we had to raise support, and did it financially, and were able to move here. So yeah.
Love
Nice.
that.
Yeah. That leads me up to the next question. So you mentioned that you've been here for 5 years. Is that correct? Wow, that's a milestone.
It is. Yeah, we should
Yeah.
celebrate.
Yeah, I think we should. You know,
Once the restrictions are down,
Yeah.
beer and
we're out
poutine.
Yeah. Once the restrictions are down, we're just gonna go out there and spread COVID like crazy.
Yeah.
We're gonna hold hands. You know, we're gonna skip. You know, like
Oh no.
Why not?
Masks off. Who cares?
exactly. That's it.
What's social distancing at that point?
God. What I wanted to ask you is, how do you find a life here, or like rather, what has it been like for you? Like, what has the impact of living in the French capital of North America been like, especially coming from Winnipeg, which is, I imagine, I've never lived there, but knowing the rest of Canada is more dominantly English.
Yeah.
It's been it's different, definitely. Like, to be honest, so when I moved here, I was kind of told. So I live in a more English speaking neighborhood, and so I was essentially told, you can take some French classes when you get here, but you probably don't need to like learn it before you come. And that's something I really regret that I hadn't done, because especially working with the community, you work with a lot of people who only speak French, whether that's people who work in the organizations or people who like benefit from the organizations. So our church works with a lot of nonprofits in the neighborhood, and instead of trying to like create our own things like food banks or shelters or something like that, we see that's happening in the community already, and we're like, good, that's awesome that you guys are doing that. Let's help you. We're not like, you guys are know what you're doing more than we do, so we often just try and help them in what they're doing. So a lot of the people that are benefiting from those services, like many of them only speak French. So yeah, it's something I really regret not learning before I moved here. But that being said too, like the neighborhood is a little bit more English speaking, and so you can get by with English. Yeah, I wish I had learned more after school. After Concordia, though, right now I'm thinking about taking intensive like French classes so that I can learn a little bit better. And even before in Winnipeg, the neighborhood that I lived in, it was a more French speaking neighborhood. But for Winnipeg, that doesn't mean a lot. Like, it means the English speaking neighborhood that I live in now is more French speaking than the French speaking neighborhood in Winnipeg, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Right. No,
So
I hear you.
Yeah, it's still very English.
Nice. And I mean, like, upon like first coming here, despite the language, like, what was like the cultural impact? Was there any for you?
The cultural
Like,
impact.
I mean, the
It's
people, food, you know.
yeah, well, yeah, food,
Yeah, go
a
for it,
big
man.
Improvement. If you've never been to Montreal, yeah, the food is fantastic here.
What were you eating back home?
Literally.
Faux faux poutine.
Oh,
They have when I was in high school, we had a restaurant, like across the high school, and they had poutine, and it was like fries, grated cheese, and
oh no,
gravy,
oh
Oh
no,
and
no.
that's what I
that's a
know
sin.
as
That's a
poutine
cardinal
before
sin.
coming
Yeah.
here.
Oh, you poor
And
soul.
yeah, I know. And so if if you're not from here and you don't know what poutine is, that's not poutine. Like it has to be cheese. It has to be cheese curds. Winnipeg's also, it's like, I think there's about 800,000 people that live there. It's a small city, whereas Montreal is a bigger city. Um, it's quite spread out in Winnipeg, so you need a car to get around everywhere. Here, uh, the metro works fine. So I've always been used to driving everywhere. And uh, when we moved here, we had a car at the beginning, but when uh, we yeah, at some point we were just like, the metro will get us places easier. I don't have to look for parking,
Mhm.
and that kind of thing. So some things like that uh, are a little bit different. There's not like a lot of events that happen in Winnipeg. Like there's some, but not nearly as many as in Montreal. There's a festival like every single weekend here,
Yeah.
and yeah, not used to that. You're used to like maybe going to a Jets game and or like some sort of indie concert or something.
Nice. I like that.
Yeah.
You know. Well, I mean, still, I mean, just for the sake of it, I mean, for myself personally, I would love to do like a cross Canada tour, just go around, see all these places, you know, and just hearing what Winnipeg is like. I still got to go there,
Yeah,
you
go
know,
and
and
visit.
check it out. That's it. Why
I'll tell
not?
you where to
Graham's
go.
gonna. I know you will. I'm expecting that to occur, but that's good, man.
So going back a little bit on your before you sort of touched on community and working within the community, and um I just wanted to sort of touch on what kind of community work have you done?
I have. So I mentioned a little bit before that the church works with a number of nonprofits in the neighborhood. So the church that we work at is it's kind of in Little Burgundy. Um, right now we're well, well, it's hard to explain. When we were meeting in Little Burgundy, and then the pandemic happened, and we were all on Zoom, and then we were meeting in a school in Little Burgundy, and in the summer we always have to be outside of Little Burgundy because they close, or out of the school because they do a bunch of cleaning in the summer. So in the summer we have to move to somewhere else, which is right now in Point St. Charles, which is just south of Little Burgundy, if you're not familiar. And uh, because it's a school, they're not opening it back up for us to meet there. So anyway, we're kind of in between both neighborhoods, and so we do a lot of different stuff within both neighborhoods. So when I first moved here, there's an organization called Share the Warmth. I think Luke is familiar with them.
That's true.
But no, we're doing our field work there this semester, so that's why I know he's familiar with them.
Yeah.
There's an organization called Share the Warmth, and they do a lot of stuff with people with from less fortunate backgrounds. So they have a food bank, they have like a secondhand clothing store, they have a cafe. They do different things with after school programs, so they have music and they have tutoring and that kind of stuff. And I started volunteering with them in their after school programs. So like on a personal level, that's what I had been doing when I first moved here. In as a church, we do a lot of stuff with festivals that happen in Little Burgundy. So in September, I think, is called the Little Burgundy Festival. And it's a lot of like local artists who will sing, rap, dance, different kind of things. So we help. This year we helped like run their sound equipment, and we had like a photo booth there. And there's another festival. I don't know if this happens throughout all of Montreal. Are you guys familiar with Spring Festival?
No.
Okay,
No.
I think
Go
I
for it.
think every community has it, but it might not be called Spring Festival. But what it is, it's at the beginning of the spring, and the city distributes plants. So there's usually a
Oh,
a local organization that will host it, and they give out plants to people in the community, and that's just what we do. It's like we stand behind a table and give people plants and stuff.
That's so
And
cute.
yeah, it's awesome. And I don't know, there's a like a lot of the organizations that we see are doing good in the neighborhood will just say, hey, do you need help? Like we'll come try and help you with what you're doing. I mentioned before, we're like a small church, so we're like 25 to 30 people. So it's difficult to like mobilize people sometimes. But we often get help from churches in the States that are interested in like seeing what a church plant's like and helping out. It's kind of like they're bigger churches usually, and they're like, hey, we want to help out the little guy, I guess. So they'll come up and they'll be like, I don't know, we have teams between like 4 and 40 people, and we'll get them helping in different nonprofits. So yeah, we've done a variety of different stuff in the community.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's really interesting.
What does it mean to you personally, being able to, or being in that position where you're able to give back to the community and be a part of it like that?
I love it. I like getting to know the people in the neighborhood and just spending time with them and seeing what their lives are like. It means a lot to me as a Christian, because I believe that Jesus came to serve, and so that's like part of what we're doing is like serving the community, and I want my life to look like that. So and it's fun. Like it's a lot of fun when you go to these festivals and you can meet people and yeah, spend time with them. And a lot of the time you just get to like, they're often very grateful, so you get to experience that. And yeah, it's good.
You know what I particularly love about that too, pertaining to you, is that, I mean, there have been multiple times that, I mean, this past year where like I'll be talking to Graeme, he'll be letting me know what's happening in the community, and you're always so cool to be, just like reaching out, being like, oh, hey man, and not just to me, also, I mean, to other friends that we have within our circles. So guys, like, I just want to let you know that, yeah, I'm running this, I'm part of this volunteering gig, and if anybody's interested in the neighborhood, just looking to, give back, have a bit of time on your hands, just let me know. I love that, man. So it's always very cool that you're promoting that.
Yeah. And it's certainly slowed down a lot since the pandemic. Like you can't just like, there's the festivals just aren't as like, they're pretty much non-existent this year. Yeah. And so yeah, it can be difficult to try and to try and help out. One thing that's been like really weird and interesting is we once so every year June 1st is moving day here, right? July 1st.
July 1st, yeah.
Is moving day in Montreal. And it's like when everyone, if you're going to move, like I want to say like 90% of people who move that year move on July 1st. It's something crazy like that. So we started like renting vans and like like cube trucks and helping people move. Like we would like drive around the neighborhood, probably super sketchy. People were like, I don't want you. I'm not going to put my stuff in your van. But we would offer help. We would put up signs before, and a lot of the times people know of our name in the community, so it's not that weird. But so yeah, we would offer help moving. And it ended up just becoming like this thing. We don't advertise at all anymore because we will like randomly throughout the year people will contact us and say, "Hey, I heard you help people move," and we're like, "Yeah, on moving day, it's December 1st right now," and but yeah, we'll just be like, "All right, do you guys want to call up discount, rent a car, and get a vehicle and help these people move?" So, yeah, we randomly help so many people move throughout the year just because word has gone around about that, and yeah, it's awesome.
That's great. And like, if you want, we could always, like, we wouldn't mind, like, I mean, promoting that stuff for people that need assistance moving.
No, we
especially
don't.
You sure? You sure, Graeme?
We know to call up next time we have to move.
I'm not kidding. Like, it got to be way too much. Like,
Oh no! Hey,
where it
that's
was
good. That means
yeah. I mean, we could have started our own moving company probably. Like, we had to turn down a lot of people.
Oh no way!
God.
All right. But hey, something to consider.
No, I appreciate you keeping us busy.
Hey, no worries, man. You know, whatever we can do to help out. You know. Oh man.
So earlier in the podcast, you mentioned that you have a daughter.
Oh, yeah.
So just to talk about her a little bit, do you have any tips and tricks on being a dad, like balancing your work, school, and being a dad? Just anything you'd like to share?
Man, tips and tricks. That's hard. I
How to dad, man. 101.
yeah.
Let's hear it.
I'm sure every parent does, but I really love my daughter. She's super fun. Like, I really love who she's turning into. It's really cool. She loves to joke around, and so she's just a lot of fun to just be around in general. She's not like a handful, if you will, I guess. And so I genuinely just love spending time with her, which is I think is like really key. If you don't like spending time with your kids, like, it's going to be pretty tough. And yeah, I think just like often, what is just trying to see like what's important to her, and you know, sometimes she'll ask me to do things. She'll say like, "Hey, can we?" She's into Frozen, and she's into like honestly like everything Disney, and so she'll say, or she just watched Shrek. Here, I'll use this as an example. She just watched Shrek.
Classic.
Love that.
Her favorite is Shrek 3, which is super random. That's because that's the classic Shrek. But so anyway, yeah, she loves Shrek, and I mean, I haven't seen Shrek for years, and so I don't remember it. So she'll try and she'll be like, "Dad, you be Shrek and Donkey, and I'll be Fiona and whatever." And she wants me to like play things out. That's not my forte. I'm not like, I can't pretend to have like a great Shrek or Donkey accent. I'm not that guy.
Graeme, can we hear it?
No, I don't even try.
Come on.
No, it's not happening.
No?
No.
Can we give it a go? I'm excited here, man.
No, Alan. That's not going to happen.
Donkey. I'm sorry, I couldn't read this.
No, it's good. Much better than I could do.
I'm sure you have a great one.
No, I don't. And to be honest, I don't even know. Like, she's into Shrek 3, which I don't know I don't think I've even seen it. I think we tried watching it the other day and I fell asleep, and so I don't know the storyline. She is brilliant with that, though. She like remembers everything that happens, and so she'll say, "Dad, you be Shrek," and then I just like don't even know what to say, right? Like, I'm like, I don't know what happened in this movie, and so I'll try. Like, I'll pretend. I'll say like, I don't know. Whatever. I'll try and make something up. And she's like, "No, Dad, you have to say this." And I'm like, "Okay." And so I'll say it.
On the ball.
Yeah. So I don't love. Long story short, I don't love playing Shrek, but I play Shrek because I know that my daughter loves playing Shrek. So and a lot of the times as like a parent, you want to spend time with your kids, but you see a lot of like your selfish motives, because you're like, I want to hang out with you, but I like, let's go for a walk. And you're like, Skylar's like, I don't want to go for a walk. I want to play Shrek. And you're like, all right, let's play Shrek then.
Yeah.
So
Nice,
yeah,
man.
Love
those dad 101, I guess.
Yeah, no, I see the essence in that.
It's great. Put your child's interests first.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
the essence of this, pretty much.
that.
Everybody needs a Shrek, guys.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
All right, coming near the end of our lovely episode, I just want to explore a little bit what's next after HR. You know, what are some of your biggest goals? Where do you see yourselves in a few years?
Tough question. I'm gonna be a responsible adult after this, I guess. I don't know if I know. Like we talked a little bit about, like, Alan, you mentioned, like, would I ever start my own church? It's a definite maybe. I don't know. I want to use what I've learned to, like, help others. I think, like I said, a lot of the stuff we're learning in human relations is very relevant to just seeing people grow,
Mhm.
and even just, like, being self-aware. I hope that translates into people being spiritually aware, and so yeah, I want to use those skills to help work with people, and I want to continue doing that within the church. I don't know exactly. I'm just gonna see what happens, I guess. It's not your sexy answer there, Luca, but
It's enough.
That's a good answer.
Enough for me. You know, it's honest. Obviously, it's like it's hard to tell like what you're gonna be doing in the next few years and stuff too. It's not like
yeah,
straightforward these days. So
yeah.
You lead me to ask a question regarding there about you were just talking about people and their self-awareness, but you also said their spiritual awareness. What's not necessarily, like, I mean, it could pertain to Christianity or any faith or religion, but what would you recommend for somebody who's trying to become more spiritually aware? Like, how could they get more in tune with that?
Yeah, that's a good question. I'll give it to you from, like, a Christian perspective, because
sure.
Yeah. So I think the big part of being spiritually aware from a Christian perspective is seeing it might sound weird, seeing yourself as a sinner, which means not perfect, essentially, and seeing, like, I would say, looking at those faults and saying, and not necessarily being super down on yourself about them, but from a Christian perspective, it comes back to the sins that you have in your life have been forgiven by God, and I think that's a lot of where I find my hope is saying, yeah, like, I'm by no means perfect. I'm not going to be perfect by trying to make myself better, but I want to see the grace that God has given me, and just know that the love that He has for me, and, like, I don't know. I'm trying to preach here. I'm a pastor, so I mean, I guess that's what I do. But ultimately, like, we find that hope in Jesus, and that, like, He died for our sins, and that He he was perfect in life, and that's where we find our hope in, is that we want to model our lives around what He looked like, because he came to serve, and came to die for us. So a lot of it is living selfless lives and trying to live for others, and so it comes from just being observant of one, like, the sin in your life, like the areas where you're not perfect, but the grace that God has given us, and just how much we've been loved by Him. So two kind of things there.
Nice. I like those takeaways.
Would you ever consider, like, teaching at Concordia?
I love teaching, and I think, my role at the church right now is more like geared towards community outreach and helping with communities. But I actually kind of I hope I can kind of gear more towards teaching aspect. I teach at the church about once a month, which is a decent amount. Especially we have three people on staff that preach, so once a month is definitely a lot for that. Would I teach at Concordia? Maybe. I think that would be a cool opportunity. I think I would have to do more school for that. I think I need a master's for that. I talked to our prof that we were talking about before, and he said first thing you need is a master's, and I think about it sometimes. I'm not sure. We'll see.
Possibly down the line, pretty much.
Yeah.
Graeme, you do it. I'll do it, and Luca's gonna do it too.
Sir,
Is it on me to initiate this?
It could be.
And everyone else?
my whole future's in your hands.
That's
Am
it,
I gonna
man.
am I gonna be a professor at 70 years old?
Yes.
50? 56. Oh.
Oh God.
All right, Graeme called it. That's that.
Yeah.
Nice, man. Oh, I like that. Well, I see you somewhere down the road, teaching of sorts in an academic sense, most definitely. That and having your own church. This is just a vision that I've had.
Yeah, you've got a lot on my plate in the future, Alan. I don't.
What can I say?
You have his life plan.
What can I say?
I'm excited. I'm excited for you.
Not planned, just visions. Not necessarily that it'll happen. I have every little grain within myself, inside myself. I'm hoping that it does.
Can you tell me how this plays out? Because you seem to have a better idea than me.
You ever see Endgame?
Oh God.
I'm gonna need 3 hours to explain this whole thing to you. No. But just I think it's something nice. I mean, I see myself teaching with you. I mean, maybe Luca as well, or Luca being the president. But we don't want to reveal too many plans right now. So.
I think if one of you, if one of you guys gets in first, and maybe is my connection into teaching it.
Domino effect.
I will certainly ride that train.
That sounds good, man.
Definitely plans for the future, potentially.
Yes, it's all part of the plan.
Damn.
All right, Graeme, that is all that we have to ask you there. But before we wrap up, do you have any questions that you'd like to ask us?
Oh man.
Reverse. That was his face right there.
Oh.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting.
Your eyes just lit up. It was beautiful.
Do I have any questions for you guys? I can't think of any off the top of my head, to be honest.
That's okay. Tell you what.
I got a question for you guys. What do you hope is the end result for this podcast?
Ooh, that's a
touche, monsieur.
Well played.
That was well played.
How long do you got?
I got all day.
I think I'll legit put that as one of our topic ideas for one of our episodes.
Oh boy.
We can give a brief. Let's just put a brief thing from each of what our vision is of the.
Yeah. All right, Luca, you go first.
All right. So my vision within the podcast is having it be a base for where we're able to expand, in other ways. We have little whatever ideas and plans in mind, but other ways in which we could help give back to the community, volunteer, do charity work, just sort of use this as our base, like a voice that reaches out to others in a way and helps out others in as many ways possible, pretty much.
Absolutely, I completely agree with that. As a platform, a platform for voice.
We just need
exactly. That's it. I mean, I agree with Luca that in a sorts, it's kind of like being the middleman, but the middleman that will never ends up on the negative side of things here. It's more like we're trying to spread the positivity here. I mean, Graeme does this beautiful work down in St. Henry, as well as Little Burgundy and Point St. Charles. Well, look, I mean, maybe we can help him connect with, this guy over here in another part of town with his project, their project, whatever it may be. And that's the essence of it. I mean, I don't really see there being like a final end note, because that's growth. Growth continuously occurs if you want it to, and you have the right means about going about it. And of course there are challenges along the way, but I think that's half the fun. Just figuring it out, and the ideas that you come up with. How are those going to snowball? How do you want them to take flight? And we have a few down in our ideas list, book, whatever we have there, a document rather. And we're just having fun with it. And as long as we're having fun, and if people who come and join the ride are also like digging what we're doing, then that's it right there. We're doing it.
Nice.
They pretty much summed up everything for me. I wish I would have gone.
Nice.
Yeah, essentially getting out the stories of just real, everyday people in a way also, and just trying to reach as far as we can with it. I think it'd be interesting.
Maybe. Just one change at a time.
Oh yeah. That leads us into our closing statement.
Oh,
If you'd like to do us the honors, Graeme.
I would love to do the honors. We are ALFA Relations, driving change forward.
Yeah. Let's go. Let's go.
All right, guys. Until next time.
bye.
Take care, everyone. Thanks for listening.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it.
Oh yeah.
Thank you.
Take care.